British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good afternoon, I'm Gina Tang, and this is your news updates to 1:30 p.m. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre said at a conference today he would lower income tax to increase the power for those in retirement.
As we develop our platform, we will bring forward a low-tax plan that allows seniors to have more powerful pensions and to bring home the affordable prices that will allow them to have a dignified retirement, which the people who built our country deserve more than anyone else.
Some Canadians are among the residents in Florida assessing the impact of Hurricane Milton on their homes and travel plans. Mark Robinson, Canadian meteorologist with the Weather Network, traveled down to the west coast of the state to monitor Milton up close. He says Canadian snowbirds and other travelers should exercise caution when visiting Florida, as severe weather could still further develop.
The conditions are still there to produce tropical cyclones. So tough as it is, I'm going to have to say, don't let your guard down yet. We're still in hurricane season.
Robin continues to say there were dangerous high-speed winds, debris flying across streets, and damage to trees and buildings.
That little breath of air became a strong breeze, and then a stronger and stronger, until it was an absolute roar of the wind, and we had to, get back into our parking garage as the stronger eye wall came on shore and really wrecked Sarasota.
The U.S. Federal Emergency Management Agency says it is ready and able to assist those affected by Hurricane Milton.
We're looking at damaged hospitals.
FEMA Regional Administrator Willie Nunn says the full extent of the damage will become clear over time. Search and rescue teams coordinated by FEMA will go house to house. But when it comes to the immediate response,
the state is always in the lead.
Nunn says despite concerns about the disaster relief fund running low, for now,
we are fully funded.
Nunn says it's important to disregard online rumors. He insists FEMA will provide assistance as it has in the past.
We have the funds to do that.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Day. The Manitoba government has announced a plan to expand breast cancer screening for the second time in a month. Health Minister Zuma Azakira says the minimum age for self-referrals will drop to 40 by December 2026. The NDP government said last month the age would drop from 50 to 45 by the end of the year. He also promised to eventually cut it down to 40 years old. The date has not been specified. Azakira says the government has been working to boost capacity in the system to allow for more tests and is accusing the former Progressive Conservative government of not having the required staff and support in place. The Progressive Conservatives, now in opposition, have been calling on the government to reduce the age to 40. They say all other provinces have recently lowered the age or have laid out timelines to do so. The city of Delta plans to proceed with an expansion project at Winskill Park in Tawasin that will add a fourth baseball diamond. Our reporter Keenan Trigaskis has the details on how this affects all the sports playing at Winskill.
With Tawasin Baseball and Mixed Slow Pitch benefiting from the redesign, Winskill's disc golf group are losing their course. The layout of the diamonds forces the city to remove and replant the forest at the back of the park that is home to the disc golf course. Lucas Neretter, the president of the Tawasin Amateur Baseball Association, gives his support to the disc golf community as they search for a new location.
We will support them because we are an amateur sport association. We want to see sports in general pushed forward in the community, so we will support them in their pursuit for a new space as long as it falls within reason.
The city is working with the disc golf community to find a new location. Project preparations are set to begin soon. Keenan Trigaskis, BCIT's The Crow.
Voters in British Columbia's provincial election can now cast ballots at hundreds of advanced voting locations today. Lastly, onto weather. A considerable amount of clouds will be up in the sky throughout the day with highs of 15 Celsius. I'm Gina Tang, and I will be back at 3 p.m. You have been listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good afternoon. Grace Miller here with your 140 Sports Update. 22 Grand Slam champion Rafael Nadal is announcing that he will retire from tennis at the age of 38 following next month's Davis Cup finals. Associated Press reporter Tom Rivers has more on Nadal's career through his reporting.
An absolute joy to watch, an absolute joy for me to cover for years out at Wimbledon. Rafa Nadal, plagued by injuries, says come next month he'll retire from tennis after the Davis Cup finals. What a player, what an athlete with 22 Grand Slam titles under his belt. Those victories in an unprecedented era he shared with his rivals in the so-called Big Three, including Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
Now on to baseball. The MLB National League Division Series continues today. The Cleveland Guardians are gearing up to fight against elimination in Game 4 against the Detroit Tigers at 3. This follows the Tigers beating the Guardians 3-0 last night for the second time in their NLD series. It will also be a deciding Game 4 for the New York Yankees and Kansas City Royals at 5. Yankees lead 2-1 in their NLD series.
This is a home run to send us to a big place, which is the National League Championship. It's hard to rank them from 1 to 10, whatever, but it's pretty high for sure.
At 5 in basketball, the WNBA Finals tip off. The Minnesota Lynx face off against the New York Liberty. This follows the Lynx win against the Connecticut Sun earlier this week. Minnesota finished 2 games behind New York during their regular season. They have won 3 of 4 matchups against New York this year. This will be the first time in 7 years that the Lynx have made it to the finals. Thursday night football is underway at 8:15 tonight. The Seattle Seahawks will kick off against the San Francisco 49ers. Seahawks lead against the 49ers with 3-2 record heading into tonight's game. In other football news, the New York Jets interim head coach Jeff Ulbrich addressed the media today to discuss the decision to strip offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett of his play-calling duties. Ulbrich said Todd Downing will call offensive plays.
It was obviously not necessarily a shock, but we all are familiar with the relationship he has with Nathaniel, and they're very, very good friends that go back a long way. So he understood the decision, and he was supportive of the decision.
Hackett is close to the Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers and will remain an offensive coordinator in title, but is taking a back seat to Downing in what's now defined as an undefined role. In the NHL news, the Montreal Canadiens have moved forward to play the Boston Bruins today at 4. Their lineup now includes Finnish forward Oliver Kapanen. It'll be Kapanen's NHL debut. And the Toronto Maple Leafs, Elias goes on at 4 against the New York Jersey Devils. In local hockey news, the Vancouver Giants defenseman Ryan Lynn and forward Brett Olson will join the 44 players representing Canada in the U17 World Challenge. The national team, Canada Red, now has 15 players from the Western Hockey League. The tournament is set for November 3rd at 9 p.m. at Progressive Auto Sales Arena in Sarnia, Ontario. Over to weather. Tampa Bay Rays say it might take weeks to fully assess the damage done to Tropicana Field. Last night, the roof ripped off into shreds by force of Hurricane Milton as the deadly storm barreled across much of Florida. The team said no one was injured when the St. Petersburg ballpark was struck by the storm, though a handful of essential personnel were inside Tropicana Field as the roof panels were blown apart. Much of the debris fell on the field and seats below. That has been your 140 Sports Update. I'm Grace Miller with BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikikane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikikane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.